It feels like everything is falling apart. We are exposed to a constant barrage of suffering, crisis, and danger in the news. But that bleak, overwhelming picture of reality you carry in your head is actually a cognitive illusion. Take a medical student attempting to learn the ancient art of sword swallowing. He tried pushing a round fishing rod down his throat to practice. No matter what angle he used, it got stuck. He nearly gave up on his dream entirely until he finally met a real sword swallower who told him a secret. The human throat is flat. You can only slide flat things down there. A seemingly impossible feat becomes entirely possible once you abandon your flawed assumptions and understand the physical reality of the problem. This chart illustrates a fascinating problem. If you ask a chimpanzee a multiple-choice question about global health or poverty trends, it will guess correctly about 33% of the time, purely by random chance. But when you ask groups of highly educated human beings, scientists, bankers, policymakers, they consistently score below 10%. They perform worse than monkeys guessing at random. That kind of statistical failure cannot be explained by a simple lack of education. It happens because we have an overdramatic worldview hardwired into our evolutionary biology. Our brains are designed to quickly crave drama, jump to conclusions, and notice the worst-case scenarios. Those quick-thinking survival instincts kept our ancestors alive. But today, they actively prevent us from seeing the quiet, massive progress humanity achieves. To see the world accurately, we have to audit these specific instincts. It starts with the gap instinct. We have an irresistible temptation to divide things into two distinct conflicting groups, like rich versus poor or developed versus developing countries. It paints a picture of a massive chasm of injustice separating two extremes. This graph shows how the global population is distributed by income. Look at where the people are. The vast majority of humanity is clustered right here in the middle income brackets. The massive gap we imagine doesn't exist. Most people have their basic human needs met. But our brains compound that error with the generalization instinct, which makes us assume that everyone bundled into those large categories is exactly the same. Then the destiny instinct tricks us into believing those characteristics are innate and unchangeable, that a culture or a country has always been a certain way and will never improve. To correct this, we have to actively look for the majority in the middle. We need to seek out the differences within those broad groups and routinely check public opinion polls or historical data to track how cultures actually change over time. Next, consider how we process daily information. Thanks to the negativity instinct, we notice the bad much more easily than the good. Journalists and activists selectively report on sudden tragedies, while the quiet, gradual improvements in global living standards rarely make the evening news. Then we apply the straight-line instinct, assuming that any worsening trend like population growth or a temporary dip in the economy will continue on a steep trajectory forever. And the size instinct makes a single, isolated number, like a death toll, look terrifyingly large when presented without any context. You can control these cognitive distortions. Expect bad news to be disproportionately loud. Remember that data trends often slide, hump, or flatten out rather than going straight up. And whenever you encounter a scary, isolated number, always divide it by a total to find the actual rate per person. Left unchecked, our brains filter reality through a lens that maximizes contrast and negativity. It completely distorts the actual mathematical state of the world, making things look far worse than they are. This distorted reality leaves us highly vulnerable to the fear instinct. Modern media taps into our evolutionary dread of violence, entrapment, and disaster. This hyper-focus on extreme events drastically skews our perception of the actual daily risks we face. Elevated fear then triggers the urgency instinct. We suddenly feel a now or never panic. That stress paralyzes our analytical thinking and pushes us to take drastic, poorly planned actions because we feel we must do something immediately. You can calculate true risk by multiplying the actual danger of a threat by your personal exposure to it. And whenever you feel that sudden, overwhelming sense of urgency, mandate a pause. Take a breath and ask for more data before you decide. When a crisis does happen, we naturally seek comfort in the single perspective instinct. We crave simple ideas. We want to believe that all problems have a single cause and a single beautiful solution. That leads directly to the blame instinct. We hunt for a clear, simple scapegoat. Some bad individual with bad intentions. We obsess over who to punch in the face, which derails our ability to understand the complex interacting systems that actually cause the failure. To stop this cycle, build a diverse analytical toolbox. Look at problems from multiple angles and focus your energy on mapping out those underlying, interacting causes rather than searching for a single villain. Recognizing these panic and blame responses is crucial. It allows us to stop reacting to dramatic stories and start analyzing the quiet, boring, but vital systems that actually run human society. Practicing factfulness is exactly like adopting a healthy diet or a regular exercise routine. You have to learn to control your intake of drama and build systematic daily habits to maintain your mental peace. Adopting a fact-based worldview does not mean pretending everything is fine or ignoring global suffering. It means stripping away the irrational panic so we can clearly see where our energy and attention are actually needed. This chart illustrates the most critical remaining global issue. It scales the entire world population down to isolate the 800,000 people who are still stuck in extreme poverty. This is where our focus belongs. We do not need unpredictable dramatic innovations to solve this. We just need peace, schooling, basic healthcare, and clean water. It is simply a matter of executing proven methods calmly and efficiently over the last mile. When we replace our dramatic evolutionary instincts with facts, data transforms from a source of anxiety into a form of therapy. It allows us to navigate life with far less stress and truly appreciate the quiet, steady progress humanity achieves every single day.